Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This is the 27th part of What If Deku Was Sanji's Reincarnation, My Heroes Reborn. The author of this great fanfic is Emma. I believe links to them and original story in the description. Chapter 27, One Final Bit of Aftermath. Izuku was dreading that day. Thanks to passing out, he was able to avoid the therapy session. And yeah, he knew it really wasn't a therapy session but another dress down about the stain incident. Not to mention everyone talking about him passing out the day before. He was embarrassed by the fact he was a pervert in his past life. It was a part of him and he was a pirate in his past life, so kind of was expected even though only him and Brook were perverts. "Hey Midoriya, do you know why you passed out?" asked Kaminari. "It's not important," said Izuku. He knew it was better not to tell Kaminari about it, since he was a pervert himself, not as much as Mineta, but still a bit. "You passed out." "I think it's important," said Kaminari. "It's not important," Izuku said, this time going into Sanji mode. Kaminari began to sweat at the glare Izuku was giving him. "Kaminari, stop pressing Midoriya. If he doesn't want to talk about it, don't bother him," said Ida. Izuku breathed a sigh of relief. He had no plans on telling anyone who heard about the personality clash, except maybe Todoroki. But only because he knew he peeped on women in his past life. The rest of the day went pretty well. Just the usual day. Normal classes, lunch, hero classes. Not much to say about it. But of course after class, the three members of the therapy group that fought Stain were all depressed. "I'm sure it will be fine," said Ochako. The three of them just groaned. "It could be worse," said Ochako. "How could it be worse?" "Because of yesterday he's probably angrier," said Mashireo. "Plus Momo," sighed Izuku. "I bet Bakugo is having a better afternoon than us," muttered Mashireo. Meanwhile with Bakugo, as he walked to the train station he heard a meow. He looked and saw a cat. It was strange, ever since the sport festival, whenever he walked to the train station, there would always be a cat waiting for him wanting him to pet it. However, he didn't care. He looked around and saw no one. And went over to the cat. This one was a common one he saw. He began to pet the cat. However, the cat continued to meow as he petted it. "Fine," he grumbled. He picked up and the cat, who began to cuddle with him, rubbing his face and purring a lot. He was unaware that one of the classmates was nearby walking away. Back at school they got to the therapy room. Turned out Momo had beaten them there. All three sighed. This wasn't going to be a pleasant conversation. "First off, let's address that happened yesterday," said Hibiki. They all sat down. "All right, in order to avoid a severe personality clash, you have to avoid the station that caused it. Which means no peeping," said Hibiki. This made everyone else sweat drop. "So for the sake of your health and mental state you must avoid peeping on women for the rest of your life," said Hibiki. He then sighed. "I just had a legitimate reason to say that, but considering everything I go through I really shouldn't be surprised by that kind of stuff by this point." Izuku wasn't sure how to respond to any of this. "Anyways, I'd also be on the lookout for other things that might cause that," said Hibiki. "You really think there might be more?" asked Izuku. "It's entirely possible. But it should be more mundane things that would cause your personalities to clash," said Hibiki. "One of the former heroes I managed to get in contact with has a bunch of them. But they're still pretty rare, but I doubt you'll have more, but you never know." Izuku sighed. "Well, that's really the only things I can really bring up about that topic," said Hibiki. "Just no peeping, which honestly I think we can all agree is a bad thing you shouldn't be doing anyways. Also another reason to beat up Mineta," whispered Toru to Ochako and Momo. This made the other two girls nod in agreement. "Now that's out of way," said Hibiki. The three that fought Stain began to sweat, especially since Momo went into full Urza mode. "Toru," said Hibiki, I got more information about what happened. You heard I made Ida promise to not go after him, said Toru. While that is noble, you didn't have to go after him for breaking it, said Momo. Well, a pinky promise, a very serious promise, and well, in my past life I tended to make sure someone would keep it no matter what, said Toru. I'm sure Twilight still has nightmares and Applejack too if she's still alive when they broke it. Is that intentional or just a side effect of you weird rage thing? Asked Aiko. I'm honestly curious because I heard your voice when he broke it, and you know what, I just realized I don't want the answer to that. I understand if it's a past life thing, but please just try to rein it in, muttered Hibiki. Also remember, next time Yuzu is in town, there's still one final punishment. I know, sighed Toru. Wait, another punishment? Asked Achiko. Yeah, I made a ton of cupcakes for the last few days of it, but I also have to carry her around the Dagobah area while she quotes Yoda at me, said Toru. They all sweat dropped. It's on her bucket list, said Hibiki. Her past life made her a huge Star Wars fan, said Aiko. Seriously? Asked Izuku. Izuku, said Hibiki, honestly I'm the least angry with you. I am too, said Momo. I don't even know why you left the bullet train, said Hibiki. I remembered that Nomu from the USJ, admitted Izuku. It's still kind of blurry, but... Oh, said Hibiki, unsure how to respond. Momo sighed when he said that. I know, should have stayed on the train, said Izuku. But to remember something from the feral state, said Hibiki, that's really rare, but considering what happened. I know, sighed Izuku. However, I do have to praise you for using the emergency beacon, said Hibiki. At least you know when to use it. Thanks, said Izuku, blushing a little. And Mashareo, said Hibiki. Mashareo sighed. You can't wander around Japan anymore. I know it's something you did in your past life, but it shouldn't be done at all. It's no longer the 90s. You have a cell phone and a GPS bracelet hooked up to an artificial intelligence. You can't do stuff like this in this life, said Hibiki. I know, groaned Mashareo. And just because your handler didn't have a tracker doesn't excuse what you did, said Momo. I know, sighed Mashareo. I think that's enough, said Hibiki. The three sighed. So does anyone want to talk about anything? Asked Hibiki. Actually, there's something I really want to bring up, but it's kind of weird, said Toru. Really, what? Asked Hibiki. I'm in contact with one of my friends from my past life, said Toru. Everyone stared at Toru in shock. How? Asked Izuku. Well, you see, one of the former princesses of Equestria can enter dreams, and she can even enter dreams from other worlds, though she has to really try at it. She decided to get in contact with me, said Toru. Wait, she's still alive? Asked Achiko. Yeah, she's immortal, said Toru. So is Twilight and a bunch of other friends from my past life. Oh, I guess that makes sense, said Izuku. I think Brooke's borderline immortal, so he might still be alive. Hey, it's fine. Yuzu has a friend from her past life that's probably immortal, said Hibiki. Oh yeah, Kenneth, she told me about him, said Toru. Wait, wasn't Yuzu a comedy writer? Asked Momo. She was, but for some reason her friend, who was the president of NBC, was somehow immortal, said Hibiki. She never figured how or why, but he didn't age after getting that job. Anyways, Luna wants to meet you guys, said Toru. If we have a sleepover, she makes it so that we can share a dream. I think I have to think about it, said Izuku. Yeah, said Mashareo. It's very strange, said Momo. I know, but I understand, said Toru. She understands since it's really weird. It's not a no. I just really have to think about it, said Izuku. I just said it's fine, said Toru with a sweat drop. Oh, and she did warn me to tell you guys. Discord knows what's going on. Discord? Asked Achiko. Oh, I haven't told you yet, said Toru. He's also immortal, he's the spirit of chaos form Equestria, but he's a good guy, he's just annoying at times. Though he is also fun at the same time, but he might show up one day and do some stuff, so I figured I should warn you. Are you sure he can come here? Asked Hibiki. Yep, said Toru, he's extremely powerful and he can traverse dimensions, said Toru. Are you sure he's a good guy? Asked Mashireo. Yep, said Toru. There were some hiccups, but he was a close friend. He even got married to Fluttershy. You know you're going to explain a bit more, said Hibiki. I guess you're right, said Toru. She told them about how at first Discord was an enemy who did a lot of evil things, but eventually Fluttershy managed to befriend him, and later fell in love and got married. Of course they all had enemies in their past lives who became friends and allies, so it would be hypocritical to say anything after that. But still, when should we expect him? Asked Hibiki. I don't know, said Toru, but I'm getting the feeling not for a while. So anything else? Asked Hibiki. No could come up with anything. So I guess today's session is adjourned, said Hibiki. They all headed home, with the three knowing that there wouldn't be any more scolding. That night, Izuku was doing his homework when two thoughts came to him. The first was the slow realization about All for One and getting a shudder realizing that he reminded him of Luffy's worst enemy, Blackbeard, which he realized was one of those weird things about pirates. And the other was thinking, if he had the chance to introduce them to a friend from his past life, he would probably do it. Maybe I should, he thought. And with that, the stuff involving the stain was over. Well, for now, there was still plenty of aftermath that was going to happen, but for the group it was the last bit. That will be it for this part. I hope everyone enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like and comment if you want part 28. If you want to hear more from me, subscribe. I hope to see you all in the next one.